How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and today, ladies and gentlemen, Duggers and Digettes, Robofiends, we have another build video for you. Now, this is Big Buttons. He is the larger variant to normal Buttons, essentially being a heavy, but also has a bit of speed to him. Now, the purpose of this build is just that: someone with high durability with a little bit of speed. And nevertheless, this is probably the best I can give you in terms of that, in my own technical interpretations of that is, because this was a request build. Nevertheless, one thing I want to get out the way first is, yes, you're seeing the same exact dual assault rifle setup. That's because the variety in this game when it comes to weapon placement leaves much to be desired, rating assault rifle supreme and these two being the best of the bunch. With that being said, let's get right into it. Starting at the legs, of course, as always, I'm running the Liberator legs. Now, if you're looking at this, you're like, dude, Liberator legs are terrible. They're not too good. They're not, okay? They're really not. However, they have the highest durability in the game when it comes to legs. And truth be told, their land boost speed is actually higher than Florence Dominion. It has better technical, like, bullet defense and laser defense, but atrocious speeds. Now, I want you guys to remember, I did say mobility, high durability, high mobility. The most we're going to really get out of this is about 16k flight and about 5 or 6k land boost speed, which is why I went with Liberator. Now, his land boost speed isn't the best in the entire game, but for his durability, it is the best. Now, there's a few others out there who have a little bit better in terms of defenses. I'm looking directly at Goliath here. His actual land speed is a little bit higher. Land boost, not so much. I think Atlas is in the same camp. Yeah, a little bit more land, a little bit more boost, but it doesn't have the durability I quite need, even though its defense, bullets and laser defense, I should note, is actually where I would like for them to be. Nevertheless, Liberator due in part to higher resistances in the stun, burn, and acid department, and the higher durability, defense, and, well, a bit more speed you can probably get than most. But with that, let's move over. Now, I'm going to note one thing here. This arm is Florence Dominion. We are going to be using one Florence Dominion arm, simply because we could run two. But for the most part, I really thought, well, let's add a bit more versatility in here, because, hey, we still have to shoot, don't we? And on top of that, having two Florence Dominion arms would weigh our AC down quite a bit, because they're pretty heavy. They don't have the, well, they actually, I think they have higher durability. Yes, they have higher durability than that of the Liberator. But the real catch to this one is the fact that it has pretty decent shot delay support. So it's not bad in terms of actually shooting, all things considered. Its fire rate isn't the greatest, but then again, I mean, if you have a weapon that has relatively decent fire rate, you're going to be fine nevertheless. Now, again, like I said, the purpose of this one is to have high bullet defense and a pretty decent amount of durability on top of defense as is. So with that being said, let's look at the right arm, which is kind of close to it, but not so much. Again, like I said, I really wanted to spread the love a little bit. So in this one, we're looking at Gladius. Gladius has a little bit less, more durability, sitting at 5.7k. The defense, the actual raw defense, is a little bit higher, but its bullet and laser defense is actually spread a little bit better. Now, it lacks in fire rate support and not so much in shot delay support as well, but has a little bit better reload support. Precision isn't too good, but the thing is, it is lighter and requires less memory, giving us more in our actual speed department, which is what we're kind of really going to run with. So instead of running two Florence Dominions, I instead decided to run with the second best arm, all things considered. So with the processor, not much here. This is my preferred processor, my lock control 2. I prefer this one simply because, well, I like to keep enemies at length from me, so that way I can pick them off if need be. But if that's not how, if you don't want to get down that way, that's totally fine. You can pick whatever one you want. But this is the one that I'm running, doing part that actually works out in terms of memory control, memory usage, and the way I like to actually play. Moving to the body, there, I mean, I don't know what you were thinking. To think that this body wasn't going to be here, this core, Hecaton is literally the best in the entire game. To show you its worth, okay? What? Damn. 1733 flight boost speed, 6k durability. No other core comes close. Now there are other cores with more durability. This is for certain. Liberate has more. Florence Dominion has more. Atlas has more. Goliath has more. Longsword, no, not Longsword. There's another one. Yeah, Swordbreaker has more, not Longsword. Swordbreaker has more. However, what they lack is that speed. Don't forget, this is a mobility build. High defense, high mobility. So with that being said, Radiant Gleam is kind of close. It's kind of close. But, I mean, 11k is pretty slick, but 17k is slickums. You feel me? So that's what we're doing here. We're gonna run the Hecaton cores simply because it gives even more flight boost speed. Now the one issue I have for this one build, this one core if you will, is it has incredibly high laser defense. That's usually not a bad thing. It's just that the current meta will probably be bullet defense. Now all day, all night, this AC itself has a pretty decent amount of defense, has 788 bullet defense, and has 1k laser defense. The thing is, if these numbers were swapped, you probably get a better AC out of it. But as it stands right now, due in part to the parts that I actually have at my disposal and the ones that's in the game, until the meta is actually established, since there's no PvP yet, I kind of went with this one in regard, because more often than not, a lot of the, colossals that you'll be fighting probably have a bit more laser weapons than most. I'm looking directly at Bolt. He's one I usually like to farm. So for the PvE sense, I kind of chose this particular sway. But if we're doing PvP, I'm definitely swaying the other way, due in part that bullet weapons are going to be the actual slapperoonie. That's facts on top of facts. Now lastly, let's look at the head. For the head, we're looking at Radiant Gleam. Now, it wasn't always going to be Radiant Gleam. I totally forgot what it was going to be. I think it was going to be Swordbreaker at one point. But we chose Radiant Gleam due in part to, well, let's look at the reason why it's not Swordbreaker. Okay, so we're losing out here on defense, memory usage, lock-on range, and, well, weight. And honestly, the weight and the memory usage is the things that we really need to keep so that way we stay rather mobile. Now, we do have more actual defense, but we do lose in durability. But I figured, hey, if you have a whole gang of durability, that slight measure to defense isn't going to worry me too much, especially when it's only about 50 points. So, Radiant Gleam is the the head that we're going to be using. The lock-on time isn't the best. It's actually relatively average. The lock-on range is where I kind of like to have it at, just under 300 or roughly around 300 range. The durability is pretty high. The bullet defense is actually pretty nice as well, looking at 290/219 for the laser. The defense itself, just under 200, not too bad as well. And everything else is looking very, very solid. So all in all, the actual base build to this AC is pretty good. Again, we're looking at 16.6k in the flight and 6.8k. I probably could have scrolled out 7. I probably could have scrolled out 7 for sure. Factuals, actuals. But here we go nevertheless. Now, moving over to the weapons. This is where it gets a little dicey. Now, first, I did talk about the assault rifles, Guilty Throne. The one thing to know from Guilty Throne is that it actually has high damage, relatively, I say below average bullet damage. The effective range is pretty nice. The optimum range is pretty good nevertheless. The ammo capacity is about average itself. Bullet speed is pretty good. Fire rate is probably where it should be, a little over 200, which is the preferred. And the precision and whatnot is kind of, I guess, average for assault rifle. All in all, the one thing that takes away from this is that it has high memory usage, which you could probably get rid of in place of maybe, let's say, another Grim Reaper 3 that has lower memory usage, and you could probably get a little bit more speed out of it. But I chose this because it's probably literally like one of the best guns in the entire game, and for that reason alone, I feel like, well, I mean, I'll sacrifice a little bit of speed if I have the best weapon in the game, due in part to this exceedingly high damage. Now, the reverse of this is its left-handed weapon, the Lost Heart. The Lost Heart is actually essentially the same thing. Now, the damage itself is low, but the bullet damage, this is the weapon you want to use if you know someone is out there with low bullet resistance. Like, so let's say someone had 400 bullet resistance, you pull this bad boy out. Even though the raw damage is 50, the bullet damage is much more. Think of it like Monster Hunter, because most of you guys probably still are, where in which you could have high defense, but you have low resistances to something. And let's say you have low resistance to ice. You get hit with ice, you're still gonna take a mad amount of damage. So that's what makes this one so good. So if you're exploiting resistances, if you're exploiting bullet damage, well, excuse me, defense, you can use the Lost Heart to this particular advantage. On top of the fact that it has pretty decent effective range, optimum range, Magazine capacity is a little bit above average. Bullet speed is very nice. Fire rate is very nice as well. And the rest of the precision stuff and whatnot is pretty average, if not below average on the precision rate. Nevertheless, solid weapon. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving over to the shoulder weapon, the Wrath of God. Now, this heat-seeking missile is the only missiles you can actually use in here. Well, that won't lower your speed even more. It's crazy because it has relatively, I guess, average weight, but is the memory usage. There's only one other, I think, yeah, just the railgun. Only the railgun requires less memory usage, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the railgun? Yeah, Raging Gluttony is the only one that has lower memory usage. And remember, memory usage is what dictates a lot of your speed, so we had to actually run this one. We couldn't even run the Classic. The Classic has higher memory usage and results in us having loss in speed, knockdown speed, landing speed, so on and so forth. So the Wrath of God is probably the best you're going to get out of it, and it's not necessarily a bad missile launcher as well. I believe this is the variant. Don't please quote me. Actually, I believe this is the variant where if you hold the button down, it shoots a gang of missiles, and if not, then it's the one that if you shoot it, it shoots a whole bunch. But then it has a relatively decent reload time, so that way it's not like incredibly OD. You have to kind of wait a little bit to actually run them out. But not bad. I actually ran not necessarily Wrath of God, but I ran the Pandora's box. It's essentially the same exact one. Well, not essentially the same exact one, but it's the ones that were more comfortable with using. The heat-seeking missiles that I actually used to like more were the Garuda 2, I think. No, it's the Garuda 1. This one here is the one I usually use. But hey, I figured more damage, more missiles. You know, guess you guys would much rather run what do you call it, the Wrath of God. Now, moving over to the auxiliary, there is none. I actually was going to be running the cooling system or even the down booster, but truth be told, the cooling system it's overshadowed by the femto boost, so that way you don't necessarily have to use any actual boost, and it's infinite for a short amount of time. Yeah, but you can actually pick it up pretty quickly, so it's not that big of a deal. Granted, the cooling system has its uses where in which you can use it at any given time, and most uses are around like 8 or so. So it says on the screen right there, and you kind of use it whenever you like, but the femto not so much. But then again, in most cases, you're probably gonna really want to run the femto boost anyway, doing part that it only takes 2 button clicks, and I mean, you're not gonna be using it indefinitely. So, and rather you could use it indefinitely because you only get 8 uses out of here, and that femto thing, so long as you actually have a bit of femto. So I opted to not go with the cooling system. The down booster, well, I just didn't want to put any more on it because I feel like, yeah, you can probably use it for, you know, boosting downwards, or I can save it and not have the additional weight, not have the additional memory usage. That way I can just move faster in and of itself. Because I mean, down boosting, what do? You just boost down. Odds are you're not going to be like really using the down booster yet because we don't know the particular meta, especially as it stands right now with no being any PvP. Down boosters may take a turn for the upper and be very good at actually outmaneuvering your opponents, but as it stands right now, not so much. But however, I will say this: keep your eye out for down boosters in the future. Moving to the right pylon, we're looking at the Flame Foss. It's the bazooka. This is the bazooka that has the higher fire rate, a little bit lower on the magazine capacity. I believe it's 4 instead of 3, but other than that, it's just the one with the higher fire rate. The damage is a little bit less, but what I was really going for here was the additional fire rate. That's essentially it. Bazookas are really good. They're really great at stunning your opponents. It has very, very, very good stun. So if you want to stun lock an opponent, probably run 2 bazookas. I actually did at one point in time, and I destroyed a couple of those little rogue AIs for free. It was a lot of fun to do, but maybe when PvP comes around, it'll find a different usage, but who knows. Now, last but not least, we're looking at the Grim Reaper 3. Now, the Grim Reaper 3 is a very outstanding weapon. It's very, very, very good. However, the only thing that's really bringing it down is its magazine capacity, quite low. If you get a Grim Reaper 3, you could probably attach some ammo into it because it has very, very bad ammo. As it stands, 17 in the magazine, 171 in the back. This is my own particular version, but then again, for the most part, you can look at it, smack, and say, wow, that's low ammo. It has great memory usage, is kind of up there, 290. It has great damage, great bullet damage, great effective range, great optimal range, but everything else is kind of meh. The reload time is not too bad. The precision is about average, and so is the deviation, so on and so forth. But the bullet speed is very good, but it's the magazine capacity that brings it down quite a bit. So with that being said, that's really the one thing that's taking a backseat when it comes to the utility of this particular weapon. But other than that, it's a very, very strong weapon. So if you're looking at short engagements and ones that won't last very, very long, this was a great one to actually bring with you as well. I chose to bring this one just in case, for whatever reason, if I'm fighting someone with a really decent bullet defense and the Lost Heart isn't taking it down, I can switch to the Grim Reaper 3 and make use of its higher actual damage output. And with that being said, everyone, that is my man Big Buttons. He is my preferred AC when it comes to the big stuff. He has, well, for you guys, if you actually want to know the final numbers, he's looking pretty solid when it comes to his numbers. 31k VP, there it is, 31k VP, 16.6k boost, almost 7k land boost speed, 345 lock on range, 0.5 lock on time, 2.2k defense, and he isn't over 3k weight. Now, there's other ways you can probably make this set work out a little bit better. Probably put in a couple of different parts to get even more VP, even more total defense or whatever, but for the most part, as it stands, I feel like this is a solid choice for you. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see another build video, go ahead and request whatever you want to see in the comment section, and I'll give it to you. With that being said, it's been your boy. Take care.